This is a game that I played last night with 3 other friends. A little chat here at the beginning. I noticed that in the startup screen that 2 of our players picked Mongols, so they picked the same civilization, not realizing it. But anyways, so this is a game on Arena. I'm playing with MonkishMan as the Mongols here on in orange. I am the Goths in teal, and yellow is Mapletron, who I believe is a friend of Monk's. So this is my first time playing with him. And then TheBigSitt in green, he's also as the Mongols, which, by the way, yellow Mapletron is the Burgundians. Burgundians is one of the new civilizations that just came out in the latest expansion that was just released. They are, I would say, they're a cavalry civilization. They have really good and cheap paladins, Cavalier in Castle Age, paladins in Imperial Age, and look at that, he pushed 2 deer at the same time. That's pretty good. Anyways, they also have a unique unit that's pretty sick at the moment. So this is just a standard start, except I actually went to my boar before I went to my lumber camp. That was totally on accident. I'm just now realizing that. Also, my back gate here is blocked by trees, so I can't even go back here without breaking my walls, which I will probably do at some point. But yeah, I screwed up my starting build order, but I think I adapted all right. Let's see what we've got on the other side here. Blue is Kanchan, and he's playing as Goth, so he and I are both Goths. Red is Philoso Drunk. He is the Franks. And then purple, Posh, is Japanese. And then gray, Wololo, is Teutons. So that's what we're up against today. I will speed things up through the starting part of this, though, because it's relatively standard. In Arena, usually there's not much action going on until later. I'm starting to get my build back down again to where it should be. Second boar arriving right as I finish the sheep. Monk is doing his play. I'm guessing he'll go for a castle at the start of Castle Age. It's pretty standard for him. I'm working on getting that build down soon, but right now I don't quite have the build down to where I can get a castle right away once I get to Castle Age. I'm just lucky to get a clean, fast castle off at all, which I think I do manage to do eventually in this game. I'm already thinking about extra houses. So what I normally do is a siege tower with longswords in early Castle Age, and that usually is enough to surprise an opponent and get some good damage in on their eco, while the rest of my team, it gives them some time to boom, get their economies going, and set up a powerful army. So that's what my plan is in mind for this so far. Well, I know there's 8 players here, so it's hard to look at what each one of them's doing. I'm going to be a little biased to what I'm doing because I know what my thought process was, as well as my teammates, especially down here on the side where I will be fighting. What tends to happen is the 2 on the bottom here fight together against the 2 on the other side, and the 2 on the top fight against the 2 on the other side at the top as well. And look at that. I got a nice, clean, fast castle. 800 food exactly, right when I needed it. I'll actually be the first one into Castle Age. So pretty happy about that. Now I'm getting the barracks up to do the longswords as soon as I get to Castle Age. Normally I do this with Bulgarians, but it's also good with Goths. Monk just signaled that there's a couple of scouts out here that we could kill, so we got together to take care of that. Back on the Fog of War. So there it is. First one to Castle Age. Purple made it there with me. Now everyone else is joining the party in Castle Age, and I've got 2 barracks up to get the production of those infantry, so I can drop in the longswords. So the reason I like to do it with Bulgarians is because their militia line automatically upgrade for free. I don't have to spend this time researching men-at-arms, then researching longswords. That's a lot of resources and time that I have to spend on that. But the benefits of doing it as Goths is Goths infantry is cheaper. Every age, the infantry gets a little bit cheaper. So, in waiting till Castle Age to make these means I save on some resources here and can do it more cheaply. Oh, okay. Look what happened down here. So, and I didn't notice this in real time either until Monk signaled it. Red tried to put a castle up. Monk saw it, got his own castle up, and denied Red's castle at 97%. So, I said to everyone, so Red could see it, Doubt? Is that you? And he's like, he laughs and says, not yet. He's, of course, got some more villagers coming, which is what that means. And honestly, we don't have any military to stop it. Monk doesn't have any military. I don't have any military. There's not really any way to stop this unless Monk were to send some villagers out to wall the castle in to prevent him from getting the castle up. Which he could do that. Although, look at the amount of stone he has. He's Franks, so the Franks get cheaper castles anyway, and he's got a lot of stone. So, I say, well, if Red is doing a forward castle, and he's already lost a bunch of villagers trying to build it, then maybe I go and hit him with the siege tower. So, here comes the siege tower with my longswords in it. Got my infantry upgrades in the blacksmith. We'll actually keep it on Red's perspective. And Monk agrees, go ahead and hit Red, so that's where I'm headed with the siege tower. Siege tower is one of the faster moving units in the game, so it's actually a rather efficient way of transporting units across the map, but it still is a long ways from my base in this corner to Red's base in the other corner. But here I go. We'll take a look at Red's perspective because he can't see it yet. And I'm deliberately avoiding the gate. You see that? I moved around the gate so he doesn't see it. A lot of times what happens when I do this is I drop them, move the siege tower so they don't see it. And if I can grab these longswords and move them through his base without attacking anything, then I can surprise him because he won't see them. But he actually saw them. He sent the scout there. So I had to kill the scout, otherwise he was just going to bang away at my longswords. Now he's trying to wall me in here. I send a couple of longswords off this way, thinking maybe there's some eco over here I can hit while he's distracted here. But, alas, that's not the case. He's walling me out successfully because he knows that if he walls here, I'll be forced to walk around through the town center, where he could just garrison his town center, shoot some arrows, and kill these. They're pretty vulnerable to arrow fire. But, I mean, I have a lot of longswords in here. They've got upgrades, so they're doing a lot of damage. And they're about to break through. I got a couple that walk all the way around. So, now they're in. This one could have done more, but he's stuck there. Anyways, got one villager so far, working to get a few more, and he's still got some eco over here, so I am able to get some good villager kills here. Now he's going to build another castle, so he's actually built 2 castles forward, and now he's going to build another one in his base. Like, the amount of stone that takes is incredible. But at this point, I think all in all, after everything is done in here, after I finally lose these longswords, I killed 10 villagers to this, so... And I think that is number 9. Oh no, that one's probably number 9. So I see that he's building a town center here, so I thought, well, I also saw that he had a castle, so I didn't want to send my units over there. Let me go back to my perspective here and show you what I see. Yeah, I saw there was a castle there, so I know I don't want to walk around. See, he's already walling me out so that I can't stop this town center from going up. So I was just thinking maybe I could destroy it before it went up, but it's too late now. I'm going to lose all these longswords. I did kill one more villager there. That makes number 10. And now he's got 3 town centers. And he's down to... I think he was down to 32 villagers at one point. Down to 34 now. Meanwhile, back at my own base, behind this, I'm up to 64. So, it's pretty good damage on red. But blue, on the other side, has not been hit. And he's at 98 villagers. He's also Goths. I'm Goths, and I'm only at about 70 villagers. 65, yeah. And he's at 100, so that's... yeah, now I'm starting to boom, and I'm letting my teammates know that. I had to invest a lot of wood into the siege workshop, the siege tower, and the longswords. So I wasn't able to get the town centers going just yet. Now Monk has to sort of hold on this side while I boom and get my spam ready. But unfortunately, we'll realize this here in a minute. Actually, let me see Monk's perspective. Monk's got 83, so you can see he's got a better boom than I do. Because he's been able to start it a little earlier. Although he also had to build these castles. So, that is what it is. But producing out of 3 town centers means I can increase my villager count pretty quickly. Green let us know that he's on his way into Imp. And there he goes. He's an Imp now. I'm letting them know I spotted these castles out here as my scout was just walking by. So, this represents a threat because this is probably the point of attack that red and blue are going to come from. And in retrospect, I mean, I like what Monk is doing here. The rams on red's castles while red is weak, because he knows I just hit him pretty hard and killed a bunch of his eco. So it's unlikely he'll be able to stop this. But he didn't see blue had its castle here. Red also has this other castle here, so that's 3 castles shooting at these rams. Now blue's going to send some Huskarls, and he almost gets this castle down, but and unfortunately Mangadai aren't going to do much against Huskarls. You can see they only do 1 damage a shot. And the Huskarls take out the battering rams pretty easily. Made it down to 700 HP on the castle, but it's still up. And we're going to have to back up. And now Monk is realizing that blue is Goths, which is a problem. I'm in my own world just thinking, huh, no one ever went for the relics. Maybe I should do that. And I make a monastery and go after that. I also let Monk know that I'm Goths too, so although blue will have the Goth spam, which is the cheap infantry, you can see it going already. I should be able to get to that as well, although I need to get a castle up, and I don't have enough stone for that yet. I need 650 stone for that. Meanwhile, I also need to get more barracks up, and here comes the builder. She's going to come out here, build these barracks. Don't rush her. She's taking her time. She'll get there eventually. Once she's done, it'll probably be 7 or 8 minutes, but once she's done, we'll have 6 barracks here, and I'll be able to produce a bunch of infantry. Meanwhile, Monk is sort of on his own over here. He has switched out of Mangadai, realizing that they're not going to be much use against Huskarls. And so now he is going for Scorpions. That was the monk you just heard coming out of my monastery. Gonna go grab a couple of relics. There's Sandy. She's just, you know, minding her own business, building those barracks. She's not in any hurry. Monk's down here having to defend all on his own, but, you know, she's in no hurry. Yeah, and Monk sees that there's Huskarls waiting, Red's repairing his castle, and there's a trebuchet. So there is some fighting going on up north. Not a whole lot yet. It's been relatively peaceful, but and in fact, Green says, "Hey, I can handle this side. Yellow. Go help down here." Monk is rather exposed right now. I'm finally building my castle, which will allow me to research the technologies that Goths have to be able to produce their unique unit, the Huskarl, out of their barracks, as well as produce infantry much faster than normal. So they're both cheaper and faster to create. So that's what we call the Goth spam. So once I get these barracks up, once I research these techs in the castle, which I'm working on right now, Anarchy, that's the first one, and then Perfusion. Once I research those, then I'll be able to spam a bunch of infantry and really contribute to the fight here. So Monk is just waiting and hoping that, you know, he can survive until I get here. Huskarls are coming in. Monk's coming behind his walls, bringing the Scorpions. So Scorpions are good against infantry. I'm not sure why he's running. These are just longswords. He's got champions here. And castles. But that's alright, it's alright. It's given us a little bit of time. So now, you can see I finally started with my production. I'm actually still need to research champions. There's the champion research coming in. It's kind of slow. But I'm already making the infantry. In a Goth versus Goth war, it tends to be about the champions because Huskarls, while they're great at defending against ranged units like archers, cavalry archers, castles, town centers, they are not good at defending against melee units. So, alright, so this is not a terrible fight on our part, because at least we've got some Scorpions here to help out. We haven't seen anything from Red. It's just the Goth player against me, also the Goth player, and Monk here as the Mongols. And he's got Heavy Scorpion now, so it's just a matter... These things are so slow and difficult to move. So, we just have to take good fights, try to coordinate, so when we attack so that we'll be able to take advantage of both our units. What I'm trying to do here is bring him close to the castle. There we go. Okay, so I try again. I bring him in closer to the castle so that this fight, where we have this line of infantry wailing away at each other, this will happen within the range of my castle, where I can shoot arrows from the castle. So that is basically serving as my ranged backup in this fight. Meanwhile, at the top, Green is in on Gray, so he's broken into his walls. The Burgundian player has Mangudai and Paladins. I'm not Mangudai. Elite Coustilier? Yeah, I don't know. And then the Elite Mangudai from Green. Meanwhile, we're still here fighting Goth v Goth with Mongol backup. I mean, Monk has to be a little worried at this point, because his eco on the front is getting trebbed down. And then this is when Red shows up. We're like, oh crap, Knights, which they're actually Cavalier, which is even worse. But I'm not sure why he ran away from that fight, maybe because it was underneath the castle. But that many Cavalier, 13 Cavalier, should be able to take on 34 champions fairly well, unless he doesn't have the upgrades. So this was a little bit of poor planning on my part here. I think it was this fight. Alright, so no, it wasn't quite this one yet, but I'm just trying to mass my units so that when we take a fight, we can take the best engagement. Scorpions are coming around. They're going to try to be back up to my infantry. then now I think, well, maybe I can come around here. Maybe take this fight. Probably shouldn't. Really should wait for Monk's backup here, but I send my my champions around. I want to come in, grab these skirmishers. But now this whole army of 38 units, yeah, Monk's like, hey, I'm waiting for you over here, and meanwhile, I just sent my champions into no man's land where they're getting killed by these knights, champions, and a few skirmishers in the back. So, oops. That was my bad. Now I'm trying to bring the halberdiers in, which I had to tech into once I saw these knights. Stopping that castle, at least for now, but it'll go up eventually. And the halberdiers don't really even get in on the knights. So that's the thing. Halberdiers are good against. They are good against knights, and champions though are good against halberdiers. So it's a bit of a chess game. You got to take the good fights when they come. Meanwhile, you might have seen it, but Gray actually resigned already. Because Green had come in with the Mangudai and the Trebs. Meanwhile, he's sending a bunch of Hussars over here. Honestly, I don't think they're going to do a whole lot because champions and knights do pretty good against Hussars, and there's a lot of both. If we had... Maybe if Monk and I had both come in at the same time, along with the Hussars, maybe that could have worked. But we just didn't have enough coordination. We are not in voice chat right now, so if we were, it probably would have helped out a little bit more. But these games, I don't tend to use voice chat. But Monk is starting to build some archery ranges on the back side here. So that's probably a good move because he has to know that eventually... Oh, no. Okay. So there were petards down here from Red that broke a hole in Monk's wall, and now there are something like 50 paladin in the center of his base. More than 50 paladin. And that's when I'm like, ah, crap. You know, that's what I said there. Oh, crap. Honestly, that's a death blow there. I don't think we can come back from that. I'm trying to send my halberdiers here. Got 36 halberdiers. Gonna send them in. They're not going to be able to take on the paladin. Monk is... He's at least got some villagers on the outside, thankfully. He's got 11 villagers, 12 villagers out here. So, I did send the halberdiers in, but unfortunately, it took a while for them to engage. And I'm also having to fight the Goth player out here. So, that's a lot to do all at once. Meanwhile, Monk is trying to help out as best he can with this mass of scorpions. He also has to protect it and recognize that he's going to lose most of his eco. So he's actually sent these villagers over here to build a new town center in between mine and Yellow's base, knowing that he's about to lose his whole eco. So good on him on recognizing that his base was gone, and that he was going to have to rebuild. That's a lesson that I should learn as well. Would do me some good to learn that before, within the next few minutes. Meanwhile, Green has some Mangudai here at the front of Red's base, distracting him. Now Purple shows up with halberdiers, and I'm like, what? Why is Purple here with halberdiers? That's weird. But some of them made it in because these trade carts are going back and forth between our markets to get some trade income. I don't have any, but my allies do. And they're going to come right through. Yep. They go right through the gate. They open the gate and let all the halberdiers in. And yeah, now Monk's like, lock the gate! And then he laughs because it's too late. Meanwhile, there are 56 halberdiers in my base. Now, these things are not that strong. They're pretty weak. But the thing is, like, that's a lot of them. And I have to send my champions back here to kill the halberdiers. and I wasn't sure how many to send, in fact. You can see I stopped production here for a second. These, in theory, die pretty easily to town center fire. They definitely die easily to champions, but I mean, I'm having to fight this fight on the front and try to clear up the halberdiers in my base. These guys are just killing so many of my villagers. I've got 100 villagers at the moment, and he's done a good job of spreading his halberdiers out too. So there's a couple here in my wood, and my villagers are not defending themselves. They're just gonna lose out there. Yellow is moving forward into the area where purple is. Green has rams, red has trebuchets. Green is still fighting with his Mangudai down here, although they're just slowly dying to the skirmishers. Yellow with his Castilier. Purple's got some more halberdiers out here. And meanwhile, these halberdiers are actually going to take out a town center. It's impressive because, like I said, halberdiers are not strong units. But they are just absolutely ripping my economy apart. I finally gotten through with all the spam I can do because I have no more eco. I'm out of food. Because my eco is either in the town center or getting killed. Still, just slowly getting killed on the wood line here. Got another one over here cleaning up this wood line. One halberdier will clean up 20 villagers on a wood line. It's crazy. Meanwhile, red has come over here to grab Monk's gold, which I guess explains how he's been able to create so many paladins. Meanwhile, Monk has rebuilt here, and he's built another town center here just to be safe. Meanwhile, I have to realize pretty soon that this fight is coming straight to my base. Like, I'm not going to be able to stop this at this point. You've got the Goth spam that's flooding straight in on my production buildings. My castle's about to go down. There it goes. He's going to break in through the gate. And I still haven't locked this door, so anything that comes over here will just walk right in again. Meanwhile, I'm still losing villagers at the wood line to these halberdiers. Monk is doing a good job here against the... Or he's doing what he can, anyways, against the champions right at the front door. But unfortunately, all these scorpions are probably going to get cleaned up pretty soon. I mean, the Goth player will lose a lot of units, but Monk doesn't have the eco to replace these scorpions, so that's a much bigger problem for us. Meanwhile, purple's base is gone. Yellow was able to go in there, rip that apart with trebuchets and castiliers. Green is taking a Mangudai versus Paladin fight down here in a corner. Paladin had the surround, but Green does have a nice cubbyhole to sit in. He's trying to take out some production buildings. Meanwhile, I really need to realize, and this is what I do, I take 11 villagers and send them off in this direction. I actually try to build a TC here in yellow space. And I'm like, hopefully some of them make it through. Unfortunately, these champions are... Now he's coming after this trade cart. He's actually going to see some of these villagers. Looks like only 2 are going to escape. All the rest of them are going to die. I am down to 16 villagers. Let's check out Monk's eco. 22 villagers. That's after he's reboomed a little bit. Here and here. This is also his farms. So, good job by him of trying to reboom. I'm going to have to take a cue from that as well. Because these are my last villagers over here. I am creating a few more, sending them to farms, but that's just a waste. I really should just focus on trying to build this. Got 2 villagers here. And Monk is like... yellow and green here, Maple and Sit, are just carrying the rest of us, and it's true. They're clearing out the top part of the map for us while we're getting cleaned up on the bottom half. Basically being chased in circles around this map. And we're having to rebuild. Now, Monk is signaling that, hey, heads up, there's these champions are coming into the to the gate here. They're coming in for yellow. So, I abandoned this town center. I sent another villager. Here he is. This is my last villager. He's going to try to build a TC in Green's base. Meanwhile, I'm like, well, I'll try to build a gate behind this. Goths don't have stone walls, so I can't build stone walls. I can't build stone gates. I'm trying to let Yellow know that, hey, I'm trying to stop these guys from getting in, but I'm not going to be able to succeed. So, we're going to need some military back here. Stat. And meanwhile, I've got 2 villagers in this town center. They're going to die as soon as they pop out. Which means I'm going to be down to 1 villager who is over here trying to build a town center. Yeah, there they go. Down to 1 villager. 1 pop. 1 out of 130. That's absolutely crazy. But my team is not doing badly. He's got the Elite Castilier versus Paladin, and they actually were able to clean that up. These Goth champions are trying to break into Green's base. So Monk alerts him, says thank you, because that would be bad. We don't want everyone to be losing their eco to the Goths. Looks like Yellow is actually able to clean up the champions from Blue just with this castle alone. I'm telling Sit, hey, you know, I'm gonna need some farm space around this town center back here. And I'm like, and he's like, hang on a second. He's obviously busy with his military. And I'm like, don't worry, I just have 1 villager. It's gonna be a while. Meanwhile, Monk's got eco out here. He's got eco in the back of Orange's base. Got eco out here a little bit, anyways. And I've just got this 1 lonely villager about to build the town center. Gonna start the epic comeback, guys. Alright, so I guess it's time to regroup. Gray is fully resigned, although this eye says that he's actually still in there watching. And if they're coordinating with each other, that he actually could be seeing everything we're doing and letting his allies know what to expect. They're coming in here, gonna kill some of Green's stables. Green's got some hussars, which, I mean, that's a lot of hussars. Well, it's not terrible. I mean, Paladin are strong, and the hussars are not that strong, but, I mean, at least it's something, and it's distracting them while I reboom. I've at least got some food, gold, wood, stone, so I don't need to ask allies, for any resources, although I do have to ask Sit to get rid of some of these lumber camps, because I need to have some farms. Anyways, the fight is still out here in the middle. Purple has had to completely abandon his base. Gray is already dead. Purple, this is his eco, which is not much. And I'm like, look, I'm building farms. I've got a ton of wood. I can make a whole bunch of barracks, and I'll just make pikemen. Because pikemen, all they cost is food and wood. So, I've got those things. I need more food, but I'm making farms, so I should have more food soon. Alright, so now they're trying to coordinate on their fight here. Yellow wasn't paying attention for a second, and lost a castle here. But I think in the end they might actually win this fight. It's hard to say. These units here in the middle I've actually not Monk's like, hey, I'm helping. Yeah, those units in the middle actually weren't fighting, so that was a little rough. You got Japanese Samurai, you got Paladins, got the Elite Castilier, got some Hussars, Light Cavalry in there, got some Well, I don't see any champions from blue. What is blue doing? Okay, he's making skirmishers. Skirmishers and pikemen. Meanwhile, I'm like, alright. I see that Gray is dead. I actually didn't notice that he was resigned. I just noticed that Zico was gone. So I asked, is Gray's base free to settle? Because I'll send a couple villagers over there. Here they go. I'm going to build a TC over here. And maybe get another area of farms going. I'm at least making some pikemen. So that if there's anything that comes into Grain's base, I can help out on the defense. In the meantime, I have to rely on my allies here to take the fight to the enemy, which they're doing. Blue is trying to spam his units. They have to walk all the way across the map, though, and they're coming in one at a time, so the Hussar are actually able to take out these units when they come in one at a time. Now he's going to take out these skirmishers. Hussar are great against skirmishers. Although there's a few pikemen mixed in here, which are the counter to Hussars. Green has a few Mangudai here. Yellow's got a ton of Hussars and elite Custilier. I can't say that. I just can't. I'm also just building houses everywhere because I know that I'm going to need some pop space. Gradually, they killed off all the houses I had in my eco. And look at Red. Red is taking my gold. He took Monk's gold. This is how he's been able to keep making paladins. So good job on Red's part. I think he's a pretty good player, to be honest. I'm trying to build this TC over here. I figure I'll send some pikemen over here to just gradually clear out these buildings because I don't want the enemy to know that I'm there because, for example, let's go to Purple, see what Purple can see. Purple, because Gray still has these buildings, even though he's resigned, Purple, for example, can see that I have a town center over here. And they can let each other know. So what I'm trying to do is just quietly kill these buildings so that this area becomes dark on their map and they don't see what I'm doing. I don't realize that they have such great line of sight that they can see everything. I really should block off the gates here so that nothing comes in. Alright, let's go back to my view. They're still having this fight out in the front. That's a lot of paladin from Red. Blue has the halberdiers from the Goth player. Got some samurai and halberdier from the purple player. So, I mean, halberdier is probably a good play because both of our teammates here. I say both because there's really only two that are able to contribute right now. But they're both going some form of cavalry, so halberdier is a good option. Green is starting to express some doubt. Monk says no. I just laugh. I mean, I'm back up to 27, but now look at this. So Red saw that I was over here. This is what I was worried about. Red saw I was over here, so he sent some. Hussars in here. Yeah, this I said Red spotted me. So since Red spotted me, I have to be a little more careful. So now I think my plan should be, in addition to continue booming from this town center and try to boom from this town center, is to start making more of those halberdiers. I'm low on food. I've used all my banked up food. I just can only use the food that I'm making right now, which is, I mean, I've got 17 on food, but I need a lot more than that. Only got 32 villagers. But hey, I was down to 1 at one point, remember? So this is not looking great for my side. I mean, Monk and I aren't able to help out a whole lot. In fact, I'd see one stable from Monk. He's trying to wall this off so that nothing comes through. Okay, he's building some light cav. He's got some farms back here. Alright, so I've got 12 halberdiers and a couple of champions. Yeah, 2 champions. So I actually think surely 1 battering ram can kill this town center, but he's actually got it fully garrisoned with villagers, so it's these arrows are actually killing the battering ram. So I'm a little disappointed. I was hoping that I could just clear that up, and then there'd be even less for them to see in here, so I could use Gray's base safely. I really should have thought to wall this off, wall this off, wall this gate off, so nothing comes through. So now I'm thinking, well, I can upgrade to capped ram and get more than one of them, and then it'll take it out, right? Yellow says he thinks it's GG. We are getting pushed up the middle. That's a lot of paladin coming in to kill everything I've got in here. Monk says he can't get anything going fast enough because he's had to reboom. I'm trying to at least kill some of these paladins. There's no way on earth that I'm going to be able to kill all of these paladins. They're just going to just come right in and kill the whole eco that I built over here. So I was up to 43 villagers. Now I'm going to lose everything on this side. Even these, I never got to use these capped rams. Monk is asking what resources do you need? Maybe I can help, because, I mean, he has been putting some work into some economy. He's even got a TC corner of Yellow's base. I'm struggling with this because I had 43 villagers. Oh, and guess what happened? So, apparently... Okay, so apparently blue dropped. Which means that he won't be able to contribute anything the rest of the game. His game crashed on him, or he got disconnected in some way. So that's kind of a lucky break on our part because we were definitely getting pushed right up the gut here. 2 of our people were dead, 2 of their people were dead, but we were losing the initiative. But now that they're down to 2 players, and Blue was one of their strong players. Blue had not... He didn't have his eco touched all game. He was just spamming the Goth stuff. I'm down to 35 villagers after having lost all that. I'm hoping to maybe protect this castle with these halberdiers. Red's headed back here. Green's... Actually, green went in first with some rams. Purple's got some halberdiers following. They're surprisingly good against rams. So he's just going to use the hussar up against the blacksmith to try to get in. Not the greatest way, especially with paladin trailing you. That's a lot of paladin. Holy cow, that's a lot of paladin. There's Monk cheering us on. Keep going, guys. Keep going. We got it. Still building houses out here. I need to be able to get my pop space back up. I'm agreeing with Monk here. We need to keep going. I noticed that this area, Red has left. So he went in, killed my stuff, and left. So I can go back in there and resettle. So I'll do it. Back up to 40 villagers. And again, all I can make at this point is pikemen, basically. Although I also have 2,000, exactly, look at that, 2,000 gold. So I could make champions or huskarls if I needed to. But I'm sending these into Purple's base because I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if Purple has settled back in here. Look at all this gold that we could be taking. That is a lot of gold. More gold down here. So I'm just scouting with these guys. If there's any eco in here, I figure I'll kill them with pikemen. Just something I can do to help. And see more pikemen coming out. Got the second town center up and going down here. With a few pikemen, or, sorry, halberdiers. Halberdier is the Imperial Age version of them. So it's basically Purple, whose economy was originally... His original economy is dead. He's rebuilt out here a little bit. I'm surprised he didn't build at the back of Red's base. Blue is dead because he dropped. But you see he had a nice big eco when he dropped. So if he kept going, we probably would have lost. But now we have a few moments. Monk says he's back. Let's see where he's fighting. Okay. Well, actually, let me take a look at Monk's eco. Monk has 99 villagers. Wow, impressive. Okay. So he's got 99 villagers. He's creating halberdiers. Or, well, does he have halberdiers? I can't tell. Some of these are champions. So he's creating units now. That's good. He's been able to reboom. I'm still working on it. I'm up to 52 now. On 2 town centers. I'm building my siege workshop again. By golly, I will eventually knock this TC down. And now I also think to close off this gate there so that they can't come back in on me. Alright, so the paladins are coming in here at the front. And so that's not good. That he's coming in on green, one of our better ecos right now. So I told him, I'm coming. I've got halberdiers, which are the counter to horses. So I'll at least be able to help. Some of these are going to die. Yeah, some of the... Now I don't see a lot of red bodies on the ground yet, but I've got more coming. Alright, I should be able to take this fight, surely. Yeah, okay. Killed those. And now I'm sending all of my spam in here to take on the cavalry units that are in Green's base. So, I wasn't able to do a whole lot after my eco got crushed, but I was able to do something. So, I was happy to be able to help out even just this little amount here at the end. And these paladins, he sent, I don't know, probably 50 paladins into Green's base. He did kill a lot of Green's eco, but honestly, with all these yellows, sent in some halberdiers, and so did I, so we've got this cleared up. Meanwhile, Green has sent more of the siege rams forward. He doesn't have any army behind it. Okay, sending in hussars. Okay. So he wants to hit Red's eco to make him not be able to afford to make anything else. I'm letting him know that your eco is cleared. Good to go. You can ungarrison your TCs. There are no more horses in your base. Although it's taking him a minute to realize. There is so much to do in this game, like all at once. Purple calls the GG. I'm like, holy crap, this is nice. How did we win this game? Yeah, I mean, Red doesn't have anything. Yeah, he resigned. He doesn't have anything to kill these siege rams. And they both resigned. That's the end of the game. So would you look at that? I'm back up to 70 villagers at the end. Let's see what my max was. So I had 127 villagers. I was down to 1 villager. And then by the end, I was back up to 70. So that was pretty good. I don't have very many games like that where I have to go lose nearly everything. I have just 1 unit to my name and then be able to come back and actually help out and defend there at the end. We'll take a look at the map again real quick. So I started to reboom in the base there. Back to my capped rams to kill this TC. More halberdiers to protect if red came in again. Purple had abandoned his base. Probably should have gone back after we left it. But red was being attacked by green. That was the death blow for him. Although losing all his paladins in green's eco also was really bad for him. Good move on his part though. If we didn't have, if I didn't have these 4 barracks back here pumping out these halberdiers, and if yellow wasn't able to produce and send that way as well, green's base would be dead, and we'd be left to just yellow, and green wouldn't be able to send this attack forward. Purple, he had just a handful of farms. Blue, unfortunately, had disconnected. If he didn't disconnect, we probably wouldn't have won. So we did get a little lucky there, but I'll take it. It's quite a rough game, long game, an hour and a half long, and a lot of ups and downs. Mapletron in yellow was the MVP on our team. Blue, the one that got disconnected, was the MVP on the other team, so you can see how big of a deal it was when he dropped. Military, more than 1,000 units killed. I mean, I killed almost 500, but I also lost almost 700. Poor Monk, yeah, 204, 510, yeah, our ecos got crushed. Buildings raised, yeah, blue did a great job with that. Largest army, 130 from Mapletron. I had 90 at one point, back when I was able to do the Goth spam. Economy. Red had the best eco, definitely had the most stone. You saw all those castles he built all over the place. Looks like our side was the only side doing trade, and I was the only one on my side not doing trade. And I'm the one that got killed by it. Remember when the halberdiers ran into my base because of the trade carts? And that's what killed my eco. I died to halberdiers. I was the first one to Castle Age, 1531 with Goths. Man, that's got to be nearly a record for me. I don't think I've ever gotten to Castle Age that fast. So pretty proud of that. I also didn't forget to go to Imperial Age this game. We all actually went to Imperial Age at roughly the same time. Sit getting there first. Yeah, Red had the 7 castles. What the heck. 137 villagers as well. Posh only had 80 villagers, surprisingly. But blue and red's ecos were just absolutely rocking it. Mine was pretty good too. The best on my team there for a little bit, but then before I got crushed. Let's take a look at the timeline. Well, that's a cool timeline. Gray and orange both got crushed. Gray a little before orange, and then purple and I got crushed. I got crushed, and then purple did. So it became a game of red and blue against yellow and green, while Monk slowly reboomed. Purple also, I guess he had a lot of resources banked up, because you can see the rest of the game, most of his units were military units. And meanwhile, yellow and green were much more balanced. In fact, green had a lot more economy than military most of the game. And I finally also had a good amount of military there at the end, along with a somewhat decent economy. Monk did an even better job of rebooming. Let me take a quick look at how many villagers Monk had at the end. 73. Okay, I think he was up to 100 again, so he must have lost a few in some of these battles. And I wish I had realized in-game that Purple's base was so rich with resources, frankly. That's these gold tiles haven't been touched. Well, 3 of them haven't been touched. 4 of them haven't been touched. So 8 times 4 is just 3,200 gold plus another 500. Yeah, that's like 4,500 gold there still in his base. That could have helped my team out if I had thought about it. Overall, great game. A lot of people get frustrated when they get crushed and have to reboom, and it is frustrating. But honestly, I just laughed it off. I was just like, "Oh my gosh, I'm down to one villager." I thought it was all gone, but Sit and Maple were able to carry us for quite a while, and then Monk and I were finally able to help out again at the end.